Hello everyone, welcome to Lost Survival. Today's story is about a young man who believed dreams could grow on their own, without any effort. And about the one moment that changed everything for him. As you listen, try to notice the new words we highlight, because by the end of this story, you will not only enjoy the lesson, but also grow your English vocabulary. The sun was just rising over a quiet valley town, where narrow stone paths connected small homes and busy little shops. Bakers were already lighting their ovens. Fishermen were preparing their nets. And farmers were loading carts with fresh vegetables. The town was small, but it never stopped moving. Abulary. So, let's begin. In the middle of this town lived a young man named Kabir. He was tall, clever, and full of ideas. But he had one habit that held him back. He loved to plan and imagine, but he almost never finished what he started. Kabir's neighbors often said he had more dreams than any three people combined. He wanted to open a bakery. He wanted to build furniture. He wanted to travel and sell spices from faraway towns. But every idea stopped at the talking stage. One afternoon, an old carpenter arrived in town, looking for an apprentice. He offered to teach his craft to anyone willing to learn, for 6 months, without pay, but with the promise of real skill afterward. Many young people hesitated, because 6 months felt long and difficult. Kabir, however, saw this as his big chance. He imagined himself running a famous furniture shop within a year. He pictured customers lining up outside his door. So he agreed instantly, and felt proud of his quick decision. The first few days were exciting. Kabir sanded wood and watched the carpenter shape simple stools. He told everyone in town that he was now becoming a skilled craftsman, even though he had only observed and helped a little. But by the second week, the real work began. Measuring, cutting, sanding for hours. It was slow, and it was hard on his hands. Kabir started arriving late and leaving early. He convinced himself that talent mattered more than practice. The carpenter noticed, but said nothing at first. He simply kept working, focused and patient, while Kabir sat nearby, sketching furniture designs that never left the paper. One evening, a heavy rain flooded part of the workshop, and several unfinished pieces were damaged. The carpenter looked calmly at the ruined wood, and said something Kabir never forgot. He said, "The wood does not care how big your dream is. It only responds to the hours you give it." That night, Kabir could not sleep. He kept thinking about all the ideas he had abandoned. The bakery he never opened. The furniture he never built. The fear of hard work had quietly stopped every dream, before it truly began. The next morning, he returned to the workshop earlier than usual. For the first time, he picked up the tools without imagining fame or customers. He focused only on the piece of wood in front of him. The days that followed were still difficult, but something inside him had shifted. He stopped comparing his first attempt to the carpenter's 20 years of skill. He simply tried to improve, one small piece at a time. Weeks passed. His hands grew steadier. His cuts grew straighter. And his patience grew stronger. The stool he built in his 3rd month was far from perfect, but it was the first thing he had ever truly finished. When the 6 months ended, the carpenter examined his final piece, a simple wooden chair. He studied every joint carefully, and then nodded. He told Kabir that his hands had finally caught up with his mind. Kabir opened a small workshop of his own soon after. It was tiny and modest, nothing like the grand shop he used to imagine. But it was real, and it was his. And every single day, he built something with his own hands. Years later, when younger apprentices asked him for advice, he always told them the same thing. An idea is only a seed. Effort is the water. And time is the sunlight. Without all three, nothing ever grows. Now, let's explore some new words from today's story. Apprentice means a person who is learning a skill from an experienced worker. Example, she became an apprentice to a skilled tailor. Craft means a skill involved in making things by hand. Example, woodworking is a traditional craft in many cultures. Steady means calm, and not shaking or changing suddenly. Example, his hands became steady after months of practice. Modest means simple, and not too large or impressive. Example, he was happy with his modest little shop. Abandon means to stop doing something before it is finished. Example, do not abandon your goals when things get difficult. Patience means the ability to stay calm while waiting for results. Example, patience is necessary when learning any new skill. Craftsman means a skilled worker who makes things by hand. Example, the craftsman spent years perfecting his technique. Hesitate means to pause because of uncertainty or doubt. Example, many people hesitate before starting something difficult. Today's story reminds us that ideas are easy, but consistency is rare. A dream without daily effort stays only a dream. Real growth happens quietly, through small, repeated actions, not through big announcements. Thank you for listening to today's story.